Hi everyone, I'm Monika Navandar. I'm the founder of NeoSeven Solutions. We are a premium HR and business consulting firm. So I graduated from the SMLR MHRM program back in May 2013. So it's almost 10 years now. Currently, I am the founder and the CEO of NeoSeven Solutions. So we are a premium HR and business consulting firm, and we have worked with numerous companies spanning diverse industries and locations. And our global footprint spreads over 45 plus countries across North America, South America, Europe, the Middle East, Africa, and APAC regions. My primary expertise is diversity, equity, and inclusion. And I also engage in a lot of coaching work with CXOs and senior leadership teams. And I also do cross-cultural competence work. And it's really thanks to Rutgers that I have been able to boast today of a global successful career. During my corporate career, I was fortunate to lead various HR leadership roles in India, in the US, in Italy, Singapore, Dubai, South Africa. And that was in the last 9 years, it has been totally supporting global C-suite leaders. And as an entrepreneur, entrepreneurship really gave me a lot more freedom to express myself and to express myself through the speaking and the publishing engagements as well that I do at worldwide platforms. So just want to share a quick example. Like while I was a student at Rutgers, my dream stage was the RU conference, and it was the Garden State Council SHRM conference. And guess what? I graduated from the program back in 2013, and I was the opening keynote speaker at RU conference just 5 years out of the program. And I was also a mega session speaker at the Garden State Council SHRM conference. I was then the split between HRCI and SHRM, but I also got an opportunity to be one of the panelists launching the ISO standards for diversity and inclusion at HRCI's Hacking HR conference. Apart from this, I've been on the Harvard Business Review Advisory Council since 2016. I have contributed to books such as Diversity Beyond Tokenism, Cultural Agility, and Blockchain Reaction, the future of how we live and work. So that's briefly about me. So even though I was a university topper as I completed my bachelor's in computer science and engineering, post those 4 years, I realized that I really wanted to work more closely with the management teams than be a software developer. And there's a very interesting one that growing up, I've always called myself a jack of all. And I just guessed like all those extracurricular activities, such as leading student organizations, organizing and hosting shows, modeling, acting in films, dubbing my voice for documentary. I even did paid gigs, like I was a professional singer and dancer. And I used to also play a lot of sports. I think all that really led to my realization that I didn't want to pursue software programming or anything that I learned with computer engineering, even though the background really comes in so handy for a lot of skills that you need as a HR professional in terms of logical reasoning and analytical skills. All that totally plays into having a successful career. So I started my career in the training function under the HR umbrella. That was my first job. And then I worked for a few years before actually getting my master's in HR. And back then, and I still do, I strongly believed that HR is like any human resources in an organization. So that function really goes on to have a lasting impact on the growth and success of any company. And it was during my job at HSBC Global Technology that I really got interested in the HR business partner role. And I wanted to move from L&D to core HR. However, I definitely lacked the skills. And obviously, then I was advised to first get my foundation right. And so I decided to get a master's in HR. So that's the background story. The only program I applied to was the Rutgers MHRM program, was the SMLR MHRM program. And thankfully, I got through. Otherwise, I would have definitely wasted that year and the GMAT score I got with it. So, while doing my research and when I really took a closer look at the curriculum of the MHRM program, I saw the holistic approach that the program offers to garner an understanding towards human resource management, and just simply the opportunity to study with a diverse peer group, just people from various nationalities, and then also being a student in one of the top HR programs in USA, and learning from the professors who are experts in their areas, whose books are read and referred to around the world. These professors are guest speakers not just on national or international TV channels, but so many global, most credible platforms. And these are the ones that really shape the policy making, even within the White House. So I knew even back then that I would totally cherish this experience for a lifetime. And I still do. And Rutgers is actually a research-based university. So the other understanding I had was the program would totally teach me what should be in the industry 10, 15 years down the line. So I would have so much to contribute and within different functions under the HR umbrella. And even back then, I had to obviously do a careful study of the website. So I was so impressed to see a proactive learning environment. So Rutgers MHRM absolutely had well-designed courses, the largest concentration of HR faculty in the world, and the single largest concentration of researchers who study international HR issues. So together, all this adds to make the Rutgers experience a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for a curious, ambitious, and a keen student of HR like me. So hence, I applied only to Rutgers. First of all, I truly enjoyed all my classes, all my classes. And then the best part was really being a teaching and research assistant to the chair of the program, to the director of the program, getting to work with Professor Paula Caligari on her cutting-edge IPN book called Cultural Agility, making friends from different parts of the world, the conferences and the networking events, so many things to do at Rutgers. So I till date, I call Rutgers as the best 2 years of my life. And if I think of classes and professors, I truly loved Professor Lee Pax and Professor Dave Lee Pax, so he's no more, and Professor Rebecca Kehoe's HR strategy classes. So they helped me a lot in terms of expanding my horizon, just understanding various businesses, and how as a HR practitioner, you should always make sure that you understand the business first before getting to your HR work. So much strategic stuff out there. And then the internal consulting class with Professor McCune, the economics and demographics of labor market class with Professor Duck Cruz, the corporate governance class with Professor Blasi. Like until then, I didn't even know that you should be reading annual reports of a company. Even before you interviewed, it just gives you so much knowledge. So all these classes and all these professors, they had such tremendous contribution to who I am today and how I work. And it was actually during Professor Paula Caligari's class on managing global workforce that I got interested in just getting my hands on global projects. And then I absolutely went for it, So now I can boast of one. I still stay connected with the faculty and staff at Rutgers, and United States is my second home. And I call Rutgers the Mecca Medina, like it's my temple, it's my church. It's truly a holy place for me. And it changed my life for good, both professionally and personally. So whenever I'm on the East Coast, which is every year, by the way, so my company has presence in India and then Dubai, which is UAE, and Delaware, so on the East Coast and US, there is always a mandatory visit to Rutgers. It's a must-do thing in my itinerary And there are no excuses. I always visit and I meet the professors, I meet the staff, I reach out before for meetings. But going back to my experience while I was still a student, so 2011 to 2013, working with Professor Ferrio, Professor Fay, and Professor McKay as their teaching assistant truly helped shaping me as a professional that I am today. So the time which is where you're not, say, in a class being the teaching assistant, but just walking to the class from their office and coming back, the life lessons that they share with you, the stories that they share with you, just inspire you so much, and just so much knowledge that you get that fire in the belly that, oh, there's so much to do out there and I should be doing that. Also, working with Len Garrison and team, it really helped me excel at my interviews back then, and just so many simple tips that we don't even realize while we are studying there. So I still carry those with me. I share them as a part of being mentor to other aspiring students and current students. And what I feel is it's really the belief they had in me since then that gave me so much energy. And yes, I mean, all of them still appreciate and are super proud of the work that I do. But trust me, always a message from them, an email from them, it just keeps me going for more. The best 2 years of my life till date, that's Rutgers. And it was because of Rutgers that, if I may just, thank Len Garrison and Liz Baker once again, that I got considered for a job with Johnson & Johnson, despite being a student with visa sponsorship requirement. And then I got into what really became my calling, so diversity, equity, and inclusion. I was a part of the global office of D&I at J&J and sitting out of the world headquarters, working just 3 levels away from the global CEO. And the stakeholders were the CEO and 2 levels down, that is until the worldwide chairs. So I don't know if you can imagine, but just being in my shoes, an Asian woman, immigrant student who got to do cutting edge enterprise level work and touching 130,000 plus employees worldwide. So I'm really forever thankful to SMLR, to Rutgers, to Len for just making that introduction, that I am one of the known global thought leaders in the diversity, equity, inclusion space today. And I truly love my work. I think when the program started, I was amongst the first ones to enroll to be a mentor. And even like when we were students, we didn't have a formal mentorship program, but it was at Rutgers that I realized how important it is to have mentors. And then I proactively started reaching out to people who I have worked with, who know of my work, to be my mentors. So just meeting the students, it's not always me listening to them and advising them what they should do, but it's so nice to hear about their experience within the program, what new challenges they are seeing, what are the best practices, so like what is the new thing that's coming up. So I also learn as a part of being in that mentorship program. It's not just me giving, but I'm also learning. And I love being on the campus. I love being associated with students. So even if I can do that virtually, I'm super happy to do it. So I am not just a part of the mentoring program at Rutgers, but I actually do get requests, and it's not even through Rutgers that I get the requests. It's the students researching on LinkedIn and reaching out saying, hey, you're a Rutgers alumna and I see you went through the MHRM SMLR program. So would you be open to talk? Just guide me through. So, and it's not just masters, by the way, it's also some PhD students that take advice, where I really share my experience that I did through the other conversation we just had of how cool it is that it's a research-based university and you really learn what should be in the industry 10, 15 years down the line. Just the events through the Career Center also, where these companies come for presentations, like the connections that happen through it. You may or may not get the job, even through career fairs, but the network that you're building is a lifelong network. So there were companies that got interested in inviting and interviewing me, but were not sponsoring visas back then. But till date, I meet them for a cup of coffee, for a lunch or a dinner. Sometimes I just reach out to them to bounce off some of the ideas I may have and get their input. So all that stays, and I truly share my experience with the faculty and the staff and how it's really the number one program when it comes to course design. How we see these professors, even just within North America, also on CNN and MSNBC as guest expert speakers, as hosting their own shows, as professors really working in the White House and contributing to policy making. So I share so much of that. But I also, there are students who reach out while they are within the program. So as a part of mentoring too, I always tell the students to just make the most of their time at Rutgers, like become friends with people who are not like them. It just helps you so much to broaden your understanding, just brings you more awareness. And I tell them that ask for help from professors. Professors are really the best mentors and coaches and advocates that you can have while you're on campus. And I also say how they should really help their fellow students, not burn bridges, and how you would need them later in your career. It's not just always for work. Eventually, you want to hang out and just have a good time. And since you shared such an important phase of your life with them, just being there for each other. I think even attending all those events organized by Aryusham, by the way, I share about these events all the time with prospective students and the current students that become a part of that committee. Just contribute, just network there, participate in those case competitions, just make the most of those sessions that even the career counselors hold. And I always say network your heart out, whether it's career fairs, whether it's HR learning events, and never network from a lens of just getting a job. You have to be resourceful. You have to give first before you expect someone to do something for you. And I say that stay in touch, always that should be a practice. You make a conscious effort that regardless of what the outcome was, whether at the job interview or the career fair, whatever it is, you always should make an effort to stay in touch with people. That defines your character, that shows how you are as a professional too. Everyone should work on building their LinkedIn network too. And I always say, be yourself, be authentic, be curious, be bold. Connect with me or follow me on LinkedIn and follow our company page. That's what I always say.